They say you can leave Harlan alive, but you can never leave it whole. Jackson Clay had the ticket in his hand. Greyhound bus. One way. Heading to a life where the air was clean. He could see Elena through the window. She was smiling. She was saving a seat for him. But then he felt the vibration in his boots, the rumble of the coal train passing by. It reminded him of the debt. It reminded him of the oxygen tank hissing at home. He crumpled the ticket. He turned his back on the bus, and as the engine roared and pulled away, taking his heart with it, Jackson walked back toward the darkness. He didn't know it then, but he wouldn't see the sun again for 20 years. Harlan County, Kentucky, 1998. The mountains here are beautiful. Green rolling hills, mist clinging to the peaks in the morning. But underneath the beauty, there is a beast. Miles of black veins running through the rock, eating men alive. Jackson Clay was 22. He hated the mines. He hated the smell of sulfur. He hated the way the coal dust settled into the creases of his knuckles and never washed out. No matter how hard he scrubbed with lava soap, the black lines remained. A map of where he came from and where he was expected to die. But Jackson had a secret weapon. Her name was Elena. She worked the counter at Mama's Diner. She had hair the color of corn silk, and eyes that looked past the She didn't see a miner when she looked at him. She saw a man. She saw the way he fixed the diner's toaster with nothing but a butter knife and patience. You got magic hands. Jax, she'd say, pouring his coffee. Black. 2 sugars. You shouldn't be breaking rock, she whispered. You should be fixing engine. You should be building things. It was a Tuesday night in August. The heat was sticky. Cicadas were screaming in the trees. They sat on the hood of his '78 Chevy, parked up at Purgatory Creek, overlooking the valley. The lights of the town twinkled below, like stars trapped in a bowl. I got the letter, Elena said. Her voice trembled. Jackson stopped chewing his straw. His heart hammered against his ribs. The nursing school in Lexington? She nodded in the dark. I got in, Jax. Full admission. Starts in September. Silence. Just the sound of the creek rushing over stones. It was the sound of freedom. That's incredible, Elle, he stammered. He reached for her hand. It was soft, so different from his. But I'm not going alone, she said firmly. She squeezed his hand. I found a garage on South Broadway. They need a mechanic. I called him Jax. I told them about you. I told them about how you rebuilt this Chevy. They want to meet you. Jackson felt a lump in his throat. Hope is a dangerous thing in a coal town. It tastes sweet, but it can turn to ash so fast. I don't know, Elle, he whispered. My dad. Your dad wants you to go, she interrupted. Big Jim doesn't want you in that hole. He wants you to live. She leaned in, kissed him on the cheek. We leave in 3 weeks. Promise me. Jackson, promise me we're getting out. Jackson looked at the lights below. He looked at the scar on the mountain. The mine entrance. It looked like a mouth waiting to be fed. He turned back to her. I promise, he said. And for a moment, I believe it. Italiano, but the mountain has ears. And the mountain is jealous. 3 days later, the shift whistle blew early. 3 short blasts, the signal for an accident. Jackson was in the shower house, washing off the second shift. The foreman burst in. Clay, get dressed. It's your pop. The ride to the hospital was a blur. Jackson drove like a madman, running red lights, praying to a God he hadn't spoken to in years. Please, not him. Take me instead. Big Jim Clay was a giant, 6'4", broad as a barn door. But in the hospital bed, he looked small, fragile. A machine was breathing for him. Rhythmic, mechanical, cold. The doctor pulled Jackson into the hallway. It's not just the black lung, son. He had a stroke down there. Oxygen deprivation. He's going to live, but he'll never walk again. And he'll never work again. Jackson felt the floor tilt. But the pension? He asked. The disability. The doctor sighed, rubbed his eyes. The company is fighting it. They say the stroke was unrelated to the job. It's going to be a long legal battle. Years, maybe. And this care, it's expensive. The oxygen, the home nurse, the therapy. Jackson looked through the glass. His mother was holding Jim's hand. She looked terrified. She had never written a check in her life. She didn't know how to survive this. Jim was the rock, and the rock had crumbled. Jackson drove home that night. He sat at the kitchen table. The bills were already there, piled up like autumn leaves. Mortgage, electric, water. And now, medical bills. He took out his bank book. Lexington Fund. $840. Enough for first month's rent. Enough for a new toolbox. He stared at the number. Then he stared at his mother, sleeping in the chair next to the empty bed. She looked so old. He knew what he had to do. It wasn't a choice. It was a sentence. He walked to the mine the next morning. Before the sun came up, the mist was thick, cold. He found the superintendent. "I need a transfer," Jackson said. His voice was dead. "Transfer to where, kid?" "To the face," Jackson said. "I want the production bonus. I want double shifts." The super looked at him. "The face is dangerous, Jackson. That's where the roof falls. That's where the gas is." "I know," Jackson said. He looked at his clean hands, the mechanic's hands. "Just give me the shovel. I need the money. All of it." The day came. September 1st. The air was crisp, the kind of day that makes you glad to be alive. Elena was waiting at the Greyhound station. She had 2 suitcases. She was wearing her best dress, blue with white flowers. She looked like she belonged in a magazine, not in Harlan. Jackson walked up. He was wearing his work boots. He was wearing his gray work clothes. He hadn't showered. He wanted to smell like coal. He wanted her to smell it on him, so she wouldn't hesitate to leave. "Jackson," she smiled. Then the smile faded. "Where is your bag? Why are you wearing your—" She stopped. She knew. Women in cold towns always know. They learn to read the silence. "I can't go, Elle," he said. He tried to make his voice hard. Like flint. "Don't do this," she whispered. Tears welled up instantly. "We have a plan. We have a promise." "Plans change," Jackson said. "Pop needs me. Ma can't leave him alone." The company denied the claim. "I'm the only paycheck now." Elena grabbed his shoulders, shaking him. "We can send money. I'll work double shifts at the hospital. You can work at the garage. We will figure it out." "No," Jackson shouted. He pushed her away gently. "You don't get it, Elena. A mechanic's wage won't cover his meds. Not in the city. Here, da. I can make the quota. I can pull the pillars. I can make the blood money. This is where I belong." The bus driver honked the horn. "All aboard for Lexington." Elena looked at the bus. Then back at him. "You're making a mistake, Jackson. You are burying yourself." "Maybe," he said. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. He had bought it 3 months ago. A ring, not a diamond, just a simple gold band. He shoved it into her hand. "Sell it!" he choked out. "Buy your books. Go be the best damn nurse in the world. And don't you look back. Not for me." She looked at the box. She looked at him. Her eyes were filled with heartbreak and anger. "I love you, Jackson Clay," she sobbed. "But I hate this place, and I hate what it's doing to you." She turned around. She got on the bus. She sat by the window. She pressed her hand against the glass. Jackson didn't wave. He stood there like a statue until the bus turned the corner. Until the dust settled. Then, and only then, did he fall to his knees in the gravel and let out a scream that no one heard, except the mountain. Time works differently underground. There is no sun to mark the days. There are only shifts. Day shift, swing shift, graveyard. 5 years passed. Big Jim died in his sleep. Jackson paid for the funeral. Solid oak casket. The best money could buy. He stood at the grave. He didn't cry. He had forgotten how. The coal dust had dried up his tears. 10 years passed. His mother followed his father. "A broken heart," the doctor said. Now the house was empty, just Jackson, and the silence. He kept the mechanic magazines, stacked in the corner. Sometimes, late at night, with a glass of whiskey in his hand, he would flip through them. Look at the engines, dream of chrome and grease. But in the morning, he put on the hard hat, he put on the belt, and he went down. He became a legend in Sector 4. The Iron Man, they called him. He never took a sick day. He never complained. He volunteered for the wet sections. He volunteered for the low coal, crawling on his belly in 28 inches of space. Dragging the cable, eating dust. He worked like a man trying to punish himself for staying, punish himself for letting her go. He heard rumors about her. From town gossip, Elena got married. Elena is a head nurse now. Elena has a big house in the suburbs. Every rumor was a dagger, but A took Italiano. He figured he deserved it. 20 years, the industry changed. Machines got bigger. Crews got smaller. But the danger remained. It was a Tuesday in November. Raining hard outside. Water was leaking into the shaft. The pumps were struggling. Jackson was the section foreman now. He was 42. Gray in his beard, a permanent cough in his chest. "All right, boys, watch the top," he yelled. His voice was gravel. "The slate is loose today." They were retreating, pulling the supports out. It's the most dangerous dance in mining. You cut the coal that holds the roof up, and you run before the mountain falls. He was operating the continuous miner, a massive machine with spinning teeth. He was cutting the last pillar. "Back up," he signaled to the buggy driver. "Get that load out." Suddenly, the air pressure dropped. His ears popped. The rats, he saw them first. 3 rats running past his boots, running toward the face, confused, scared. "Shut it down!" Jackson screamed. He hit the kill switch on the miner. Silence fell. Then came the groan, deep in the earth. Like a whale singing in the deep ocean, the strata was snapping. "Run!" He shoved the new kid, Billy, toward the exit. Go. 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 The roof cracked open. Not a small fall, a massive collapse. The mountain simply let go. Tons of rock, shale, sandstone, coal. It came down like a curtain. Jackson tried to dive for the man-trip. But he was too slow, or maybe the mountain was too fast. A slab the size of a dinner table hit his legs. The impact didn't hurt. Not at first. It just felt like a hammer. Then the lights went out, and Jackson Clay was alone in the dark. He woke up to the sound of dripping water. Drip. 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 He tried to move. He couldn't. His lower body was pinned, trapped under the slab. He reached down. He felt wetness, warm, sticky, blood. He turned on his caplight. The beam was weak. Yellow. It cut through the dust. He saw the wall of rock in front of him. He saw the wall of rock behind him. A tomb. He was buried in a space the size of a coffin. Pain started to creep in. First a throb, then a burn, then a scream. His legs were crushed. He fumbled for his radio. Mayday, Mayday. Sector 4, static. Anyone copy? Static. The antenna was buried. He was cut off from the world. He leaned his head back against the coal. "So this is it," he whispered. "This is how it ends. Just like you wanted, isn't it?" He was talking to the mountain. "You finally got me. Ors pas. Pasev." The battery on his light began to fade. Dimmer, dimmer. As the light died, the ghosts came. Carbon dioxide buildup causes hallucinations. He saw his father standing in the corner. Young again? Strong? "You did good, son? You held the line." He saw his mother, holding a plate of biscuits. "Eat, Jackson. You're working too hard." And then he saw her, Elena. She was wearing that blue dress with the flowers. She was standing right there, in the coal dust. She wasn't sad anymore. She was angry. "You promised me a shop, Jackson. You promised we'd fix cars. Why are you lying here? Get up." "I can't," Jackson sobbed. "I'm stuck, El. I'm broken." "You were broken before the rock fell," the vision said. "You broke yourself to save them. But who saves you?" Jackson closed his eyes. The pain was fading now. Cold was setting in. Hypothermia. He felt sleepy. It would be so easy to sleep. Just close his eyes and wake up in heaven, or wherever miners go. Probably somewhere with no roof, just open sky. But then a sound. Grind, grind, grind. Vibration in the floor. He opened his eyes. The vision of Elena was gone, but the sound remained. A drill. They were coming. A spark of defiance lit up in his chest. He remembered the ring, the gold band he gave her. He remembered the promise. Not today. He gritted his teeth. He found a loose rock. He started banging on the roof bolt. Clang! 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 "I am here!" he screamed. "I am Jackson Clay. And I ain't done yet." He banged until his hands bled. He banged until the drill broke through. He banged until he saw the beam of a rescue light. And then he allowed himself to pass out. The hospital room was white. Blindingly white. It smelled of bleach. Not sulfur. Jackson blinked. His throat felt like he had swallowed a bag of razor blades. He looked down. His legs were elevated, casts up to his hips. External fixators. Metal pins. But they were there. He still had legs! He's waking up! A nurse shouted. Footsteps running. Doctors checking monitors. Jackson tried to speak. "Water!" he croaked. They gave him an ice chip. It was the best thing he had ever tasted. Mr. Clay. A voice, not a nurse. A voice from a dream. He turned his head slowly, standing in the doorway, wearing a white coat, stethoscope around her neck, holding a clipboard. It was her. Older, yes. Some silver in the corn silk hair. But the eyes hadn't changed. Elena, she dropped the clipboard. It clattered on the floor. She walked to the bed. Her hands were shaking. She reached out and touched his face, checking if he was real. "Jackson," she whispered. "You stupid, stubborn man." Tears ran down her face. "Elena," he rasped. "Am I dead?" She laughed. A wet, choked laugh. "No, Jax. You're at the UK Medical Center. In Lexington, they flew you here. Trauma unit. My unit." Jackson stared at her. You, ... You came back. "I never really left," she said. "I mean, I lived here, but I kept tabs on you. Every accident report, every time the news mentioned Harlan, I checked the names, praying I wouldn't see yours." She pulled a chair close. She sat down. "I saw the name on the manifest this morning. Jackson Clay. Severe crush injury. I thought my heart was going to stop." Jackson looked at his casts. "I'm finished. Can't mine no more. Legs won't take the slope." "Good," she said fiercely. "Good! The mountain took 20 years. Jackson, it took your dad. It took your mom. It took your youth. It doesn't get the rest. The rest is yours." She paused. She looked at his hand, still stained with coal dust. "And maybe it's mine too. If you still want that. I heard you never married." Jackson shook his head. "Couldn't?" he whispered. "I gave my heart away at a bus station. In '98, never got it back." Elena took his hand. She kissed the scarred knuckles. "I'm a widow, Jackson. He was a good man, but he wasn't you. He didn't know how to fix a toaster with a butter knife." She smiled through her tears. "I have a garage," she said softly. "My husband left it to me. It's a mess. Needs a manager. Needs a master mechanic. Needs someone with magic hands." Jackson looked at her. He looked at the window. Outside, the sun was shining. On the city, no coal dust. He felt the weight lifting. The weight he had carried for 2 decades. The weight of the roof. The weight of the duty. It was gone. He squeezed her hand. Weakly, but steadily. "I might need a chair," he said, "to work on the engines. I can't stand too long." Elena smiled. A smile that lit up the room. "We'll get you a chair, Jackson. We'll get you whatever you need." 1 year later, Harlan County is just a memory now. A place visited in nightmares, but not in waking life. South Broadway, Lexington. A sign hangs over the brick building. Clay's Automotive. Inside, music is playing. Classic rock. The smell of grease and oil. A good smell. An honest smell. Jackson sits on a rolling stool. He is working on a '69 Mustang. His legs ache when it rains. And he still coughs sometimes. The black lung doesn't just go away. But his hands are busy. They are cleaning a carburetor, making something run smooth again. The office door opens. Elena walks out. She is holding 2 coffees. She hands one to him. "Lunch break, boss," she says. He wipes his hands on a rag. He looks at her. She looks happy. He looks happy. "You know," Jackson says, "I took the long way around to get here." Elena kisses his forehead. "You took the only road you could, Jax. You had to settle your debts. You had to pay the toll, but you're here now." Jackson nods. He looks out the garage bay door. The sun is setting. But he doesn't fear the dark anymore, because he knows that tomorrow the sun will come up, and he won't be underground. He will be right here, fixing what's broken, loving the woman who waited. He takes a sip of coffee. "Yeah," he whispers, "I'm here, and I ain't going nowhere."